Hello, I am Grande Beauty, and I could not start this podcast without giving thanks to the man that had the vision for me to speak to people, and that is CJ Joyner. In 2020, when I started this podcast, it was a call, it was a conversation, and it was, Grande, you need to, you want to start a podcast? People need to hear what you're saying, and I love what you say, and it was an idea, come up with the name, Grande, and we got it. I cannot start this podcast without giving gratitude and thanks to CJ Joyner. He passed away in 2023, and I didn't know what to do with this podcast or how to keep this podcast going or get it back going, because he was everything. He was the producer. He was the push, my drive. He was right beside me in between recordings. We are talking, we're laughing. He had been a part of my life since 2011. And so this is bittersweet. And I didn't even want to start it because it's a sore spot and it's bittersweet, like I said. But I have to give him thanks, and he knew before he left how much I thanked him, how much he meant to me. And without CJ Joyner, there would not be a point of view with Grande Beauty. So without further ado, here's season 3 of Point of View with Grande Beauty. Always for CJ.
All right, you'll have music for about 5 seconds, and you can start right after that. Just do your thing.
Hello, and welcome to Point of View of Grande Beauty, where this is my point and my view. Okay, so yeah, so my first episode is going to be, is it the woman's right to choose? Is it? Is it? So this subject came to me because I put a video up with Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey and Tracee Ellis Ross. Tracee Ellis Ross. You know, Diana Ross's daughter, right? Who's still very much that girl in her own right. So they spoke on, and when you see me, I'm going to be looking at my notes because I have my notes on my stand right here for time's sake, because I could go on all day. But to stay on track and to stay on cue, because I don't have CJ right there to say, hey, wrap this thing up. No, just playing. But for real, to touch on this subject, I went through the comments under my video, and it was very, very interesting. First of all, let's get this together. When y'all say women play their role or men play their role, let's get the spelling of that together, because a lot of you are okay. So role, when you're referring to it in this manner, you mean role that is spelled R-O-L-E. A lot of you are saying R-O-L-L as in like roll across a floor. That's not how. No, get that together first. Okay, so first I'm going to touch on the things that Oprah and Tracee said, okay? Because a lot of you evidently didn't hear it. And projection is a lot of y'all's problem is projection, and you speak from your emotions, and you speak from your triggers, and you speak from your life. And I'm gonna get on that later, because you have to learn how to speak from a place of being neutral, I will say, or open-minded. Because a lot of you are very closed-minded. So what we're going to do is touch on what Oprah said and what Tracy said. Because that's the important part. Because a lot of you weren't hearing what they said. You heard what you wanted to hear, and you heard what you didn't want to hear. It's a problem when y'all hear something you don't want to hear, and especially if it's from someone you don't want to hear it from. It's a lot of Oprah hate, and that's neither here nor there. Sometimes it's not who said it. It's not what was said. It's who said it. You know the term that is not what was said is how it was said, but it's also not what was said, but who said it, right? Because a lot of you people have a very big disdain for Oprah Winfrey. But either way, so Oprah said she didn't marry because she wouldn't have had the life that she dreamed of if she married. She said Stedman is a wonderful man, but he is also a traditional man who has his own ideas about what a wife was and is. And when he asked to marry her, she started to wonder what that meant for her and her life and her future. Her, right? So there are women in the comments saying he didn't ask her to marry him. This woman clearly said, when he asked me to marry him. Did y'all not hear that? Now, he asked, she wanted to marry him and he said no. Anything to make your story fly, go with that, I guess. But make it make sense, honey. This woman is a billionaire, very successful. And Stedman has been with her. Stedman could have very well went and found a woman to marry him. But he stayed. So, in other words, tradition is not very big to him in the end, right? So he settled for not being married. He settled for being her partner. If he didn't want her at all, right? Wouldn't he have went and got what he wanted? Men could very well get what they want. May not be from the woman that they want, but they will very well get what they want. So Stedman, like many of you women, push aside what they want to have who they want. A lot of you are in marriages and relationships with people that are not serving you or the better of you, but you're settling for a life that you don't want and that is good enough just so you can have someone. Oprah, being the woman that she was, said, you know what? I can't be the wife that you're looking for, so I'm not going to do this. But Stedman chose to stay. And she said, I would have not had the life that I dreamed of had I got married. A lot of you women don't have the life that you dreamed of. You have the life that you settled for, and you have the life that you have no choice but to ride out with because you wanted a marriage and a wedding. And let's be honest, a lot of you women don't want marriage. You wanted a wedding. You wanted to be married, but you are not good wives. And Oprah knew. Oprah knew, instead of me putting on this facade and doing what everybody says that I should do and how I should do it and doing what tradition says and what God says, I'm not going to do this. Isn't that what you're supposed to do? Aren't you supposed to be honest with your partner and say, hey, this isn't what I want. But if you want it, you can very well go find it. Yeah. So this woman who chose not to marry is now a billionaire and living the life of her dreams. And a lot of you are saying this ain't her life of her dreams because it doesn't fit your box of what marriage, partnership, and relationship's supposed to be. Y'all have to stop projecting what you want and what you don't want into other people's lives. Whether it's poly, whether they're gay, whether they're straight, whatever it is. Like me, I look at women with 6 kids and I be like, oh God. But that's that woman's life, and that's what makes her happy. Now, I encourage women every day not to have kids because of the state of what the world is in today, and you keep getting left to be single mothers. Now, this is the difference that I speak on when I say I don't speak from projection. I speak from observation. I speak from the observations of what I see with women having children. I see women every day in my city and afar who have relationships with men, become pregnant, have a beautiful baby shower, and the men are nowhere to be found before that child is 1 year old. And then they go have baby number 2, baby number 3, sometimes baby number 4. And that's just the truth. Tracy Ellis Ross says she is happily, gloriously single. And there are women in the comments talking about, no, she miserable. Y'all got to stop projecting your shit on people. That's just all to it. Stop doing it. She also says, someone told her that being a mother gave their life so much more meaning. And she was like, so you're saying my life means nothing because I don't have kids? There are so many, y'all are so wrapped up in tradition that you can't see it no other way. We're supposed to go finish school, get married, and bear children. That is not everybody's story. There are some women, there are a whole lot of women very, very happy not having children depend on them. Do you know that's somebody's life in your hands? Do you know how serious that is? Y'all only want to have children for having a child, and I say it again and I say it again, it's the most selfish act someone can do. And there are people in the comments calling these women selfish for not having children. That's the most selfish thing you could do. Nobody asked. No, I didn't ask my mama to have me. I didn't ask my daddy to. I never asked them. I never asked to be here. They had me. Because one, they wanted to have sex and they loved each other. And they had me. I've seen people say, I want to have a child so I can have something to love me. Selfish. And I always say, do you know sometimes them chrome snatchers going to treat you like Jack Schnapp? I don't know what Jack Schnapp is, but it sounds like something that somebody wouldn't treat good. Because they're human. Y'all have children to have projects. And when they don't turn out to be, or they are wrong, or you want to abuse them, or you want to discipline them for not being what they supposed to do. They didn't even ask to be here. I'm put here to do right. But I didn't even ask to be here. I wouldn't even be doing wrong had your ass not had me. You understand? Tracy Ellis Ross goes on to say also that she shows up in life in other ways. There are more ways to show up in life as a woman than being someone's wife and being someone's mother. I feel sorry for women who think that is the only thing that will give you meaning, having a man and bearing a child. You can be there for your friends. You can be there for so many other people and show up in life. You can be there for yourself. This is why a lot of women get so lost in the sauce, because you don't know what to do with yourself. You halfway know how to be a wife. You be a hands-on mother, but who are you without these titles? And I have to point to a lot of you were raised this way. A lot of you were raised by women who told you, and men who said you're not anything, when you're going to get married, when you're going to have children. They put this in your mind. So I feel sorry for you to be raised that way, that you're nothing without a man or a child. So let's get to some of these comments. First of all, about Oprah being gay, there y'all go minding somebody's business again. If she's gay, if her and Gail getting it on, What business is it of yours? What are you doing? What are you doing? Huh? Then, there's somebody that said, Emma says, God don't want you to live in fornication, and she hopes they make it into the kingdom of God. Emma, I can't even take you serious saying this on Facebook. On Facebook? You're talking about somebody making it to the kingdom of God? Facebook, social media is some of the most evil things, just like the Bible. If you open up that Bible and read it, the most evil things happen in that Bible. So why are you so shocked that people are living in fornication? If God would have made it, he wouldn't have said anything about fornication if there never was fornication. I'm pretty sure they'll be all right, because God is a forgiving God, right? I don't really think y'all believe God is a forgiving God, because y'all love spewing and trying to damn people to hell. And you're always saying nobody's going to make it into the kingdom by doing the things they do. But I thought he forgives sins. Didn't he die for the sins? I'm confused. The biggest thing about this is the way that the world still comes at women. This is Oprah, a billionaire, a woman who's very successful, who has had this man as her partner, as she calls him, for all these years. And no one's saying that maybe Stedman doesn't know his worth. Now, if the roles were reversed and Oprah was Stedman and Stedman was Oprah, if Stedman was this billionaire, successful billionaire, and Oprah was the woman that he did not marry, the conversation would go like this. Oh, he doesn't want to marry her, and why is she holding on to him, and why doesn't she go find someone who want to be married? He's just been dragging her along, and he's not giving her any kids. He doesn't care about her. He doesn't want her. Y'all hate women. And whatever the situation is, it's always going to be the woman's fault. Just like Daryl here says, that's why she's still 70 plus and still have a boyfriend. So Stedman's not 70 plus and still just somebody's boyfriend? Is Stedman not worthy of marriage? Can Stedman not find somebody else to marry him? Is that ever a thought? No, because it's always the woman's fault. And you women hold patriarchy on your shoulders. You are worse than a man. The women in the comments are worse than a man. Y'all don't want equality. You don't want feminists. You want what the world has told you to accept. And you think that all women are supposed to accept what you accept. And that's just not it. And when other women are okay not falling into tradition and not doing what tradition has told them to do, you lose your ish very badly, very disgustingly. And the people that are just as awful and disgusting as women who hold patriarchy are the old washed up men who have high blood pressure, erectile dysfunction, and gout. When you click on these men's pictures and you see what they look like, you are like, sir, you have one foot in a cemetery. And did you take your meds today? Did you check your scrotum to make sure that everything is balanced? Did you take your gas medicine? More importantly, make sure you strap on your sleep apnea machine before you fall asleep tonight. Because we want you to breathe correctly while you're sitting up here in women's business. Why does it concern you so much about what women want? Choices. Y'all don't want women to choose anything for themselves, whether it be their womb or their vaginas or what their mouth says. And that's just the truth. Mero says, marriage is godly. So if you choose to be single, don't knock marriages. Oprah and Tracy never mocked or knocked marriages. They said what simply worked for them and what didn't. And they didn't want to get married. They never said, why y'all getting married? Don't get married. It's crazy. It's this, it's that. They just said it wasn't for them. Tracy said she's happy. Oprah said, I didn't want to be a traditional wife. That wasn't in that's not something she wanted to do. Where is she knocking marriages? I've seen her at plenty of weddings on pictures. Jesus is for marriage and family. Where's Jesus' wife? Jesus had a wife and children? Hold on. Let me get my Bible. So, Melrose ends her comment with saying, thank Jesus. So I hope one day you experience this moment of marriage. Oprah's in her 70s. Baby, I think she's okay going to her grave without having some man on a piece of paper with her. Denise says, she is protecting her money. Girl, bye. No, girl, hey. You think that's a smart woman? She has a lot of money to protect, baby. She's not in a call center. Like, she's not at a call center. She's not doing customer service. She's not making $20-some an hour or below. She has money to protect. And this is the thing. You really think that this woman has been with Stedman for these many of years and she doesn't have a will set aside for if she goes before him to take care of him? You really think that? You don't have to be married to put someone in your will. I've seen people leave everything to their dogs. I've seen people leave everything to a shelter. I've seen people leave everything to a damn statue. And you think? And if she did, it's her money. Y'all keep sharing y'all $1,500 and $20-some checks with y'all men. She can protect her money all she wants to. Okay? She's smart. Keisha says, me, I, my. Why wouldn't it be that way? Keisha? See, y'all are so used to putting everybody before yourselves that it's foreign that two women are sitting up there putting themselves first. Y'all want the whole world swinging from your tits and you want to mew for the rest of your lives. And there are women out there that know that they don't have to choose that. They don't have to be slumped over, bent over, gagging, slobbing for anything. And they are in a position to do it. These are women with money. They have a different language. They live in a different world than us call center, customer service, or whatever job you're out here working in your everyday life. They have a different perspective and they have more to lose. So for you to sit up here and have a conversation, yeah. Smart. Y'all will give y'all eye and teeth for a Negro that will put you in the ground and be married to your sister, mama, or your best friend tomorrow. Lanika says, men are the reason women are okay with being single and not having kids. Now let's tell the real truth. There are two people in relationships. When a man doesn't want to get married, it's because he doesn't want to be married to a woman. When a woman doesn't want to get married, it's because she doesn't want to be married to a man. And for whatever their reasons are, that's the truth. Lanika, you're telling the truth. Women observe things and they say they don't want to be a part of it. And you get it, Lanika. And that's their right to choose that. And it's crazy that people will feel like, oh no, like, oh, the whole world, everybody's good people. Why you don't want to marry people? Because they can't see them, they can't fathom that somebody doesn't want to belong to somebody on a piece of paper. Oprah and Stedman have been living their lives since the 80s together successfully. And I just so happen to have met Stedman. I did a show with him. I opened up for him. And he is such a gentleman. Such a gentleman. Such a gentleman. Oprah got a good one. And she said it. And she is not lying. It's like this. Them people been together so long. If Stedman... That man didn't live with that woman without scandal since the 80s. How many of you can say you've never found out anything about your man that you only been with for a year? Ed Stedman hasn't had one scandal, and they are not married. Look at all the men that are married, all the couples, all the celebrities that have been married and had all this scandal. Find me a scandal. And then all y'all lying in these comments talking about, yeah, I was on there. One person say she worked on Oprah's summer and she saw Stedman kissing a man. Girl, if you don't stop lying, because I'm pretty sure you signed an NDA if you went anywhere near Oprah. And this is another thing. Y'all got to stop lying, because the stuff y'all saying in the comments, like, you just straight up, yeah, I saw a video when Oprah said she wanted married to be. That lady ain't never said that. I'm 44 years old. Find it. Find the video. Find all the videos where she said it, because you're lying. Because you're lying for your narrative. Like, people don't know. We've been seeing Oprah all our lives. This woman is in her 70s. Whew, honey. But like Lanika says, and this goes to the women, and it's a trip to me. Like, y'all don't get it. Y'all will sit up here and dog men or whatever till another woman says something that you don't like. If you don't like the woman, you don't get what she's saying. But just like Lanika says, men are the reason. And it goes to the post that said, you remember how when we were in high school and they came up with the little ideal about sending these little fake babies home that cried to make girls not want to have babies? Right? But you remember the meme that said if they would have sent the baby daddy home instead? Send the daddies home with them. With the baby. I bet you. Yes. It's a whole different ball game when you got that baby and that man swinging from your tits. Because now you got to take care of two people. And you got to hear from two people. And you got to put those two people or three or however many you have before you. Because that's what tradition says, right? You have to mule. And y'all are mad that women are choosing not to mule anymore for love or half-ass love. That's the problem. So there was this man in the comments. I think his name was Daryl. So Daryl comes in. So Daryl comes in the comments and he says, if she would have, referring to Oprah and Tracy, but I think more Tracy. He says, how does she know she doesn't want kids? You don't know until you have them. So Alexis came in and said, well, I have 3 and I know I don't want any. I don't want kids. So he comes in and now he's talking about choices. Well, you had a choice. Choice. Isn't this what Oprah and Tracy's doing? They're making a choice not to have kids. So you're telling me, sir, that you should have kids to know whether or not. He said it's a beautiful thing. Sir, when have you been a mother? Huh? When have you carried a child in your womb and birthed it? You're saying it's beautiful? No, it's beautiful for you to look at. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful experience for you to watch. Now, I'm not saying when I carried my son, there wasn't beautiful. It was beautiful because I had a good father by my side as far as that. But it was scary. It was dangerous. It was nerve-wracking. It was tiresome, however the word goes. I had to be induced to get my son out labor early. Let's talk about that part. Let's talk about the test and the things you have to go through to make sure your child's okay. Let's talk about when the heart rate is dropping. Let's talk about when you're tired and when you've pushed so long and you can't get the child out, or it's not coming out on its own. Let's talk about the emergency C-sections. Let's talk about the emergency, what do they call it? Inducing of labor. Let's talk about when they test you to see if your child has Down syndrome and you're waiting for that test to come back. Let's talk about all the tests that you have to go through as a mother. Let's talk about the swollen feet. Let's talk about your heart rate changing. Let's talk about the vomiting. And you want to tell me it's beautiful? When have you done that, Daryl? And I came in and said, I had one, and I knew I didn't want another one. My son is 16, and I knew I didn't want to have another child. I did not want to endure that, because when your children sit on your heart, that's not nothing to be taken lightly. Well, I want something that's going to love me. You have a life in your hand. You have someone depending on you. You have to get it right. Because if you don't get it right, that's their life. What you do with your life, and while their life is in their hand, while you're carrying on your life, sets the tone for everything. I look at my child, and I look at a miracle, and I look at something that came from me and came from his father in our marriage, and I say, wow. I look at him and I see his father's face. I see his mannerism like his dad. And I see a person that's about to be a grown man. And every day I ask myself, did I do enough? Is it enough? What did I mess up? What can I correct? I'm going to have to let him go one day, because they're not going to be babies always. You ain't going to be able to put them up on your shoulder and burp them for the rest of their life. You're not going to be able to kiss boo-boos. They got to go out here in this real world. They have to go out into this world without you. And guess what? One day they have to bury you. If the order of life goes the way it's supposed to, you have to leave somebody here in a world of hurt without you. But you wanted them. And I wanted him. And I cried when I had him, because I felt so selfish for bringing him into this world. But Daryl says, have a child. Then you'll know. So Daryl should not down the women who have children and then say, you know what, this ain't it, so I'm going to leave it on the doorsteps at the hospital and abandon it. Daryl should not be mad at the women who abuse their children or have taken their children's lives or anything like that, because guess what? They had the child. And guess what? They figured out they couldn't do it. They knew it was too much. What about those mothers? See, if those mothers would have done like Oprah and Tracy did and not followed this crazy tradition, they would still be sane. Stop pushing your tradition on everybody. Everybody's not meant to be, and everybody doesn't want to be a wife or a mother or both. Some women just want to be wives. Some women just want to be mothers. They go get artificially inseminated or get with some guy and do what they do, and they have a child, right? Having a child is not for sport. Getting married is not for sport. And y'all got to stop glamorizing it because it's serious. It's serious business. Connecting your life with someone, having a child and bringing with someone and bringing it into this world. You have to understand that people are individuals, and y'all want to carry marriages as something that is a cookie cutter situation. People, everybody, individuals, me, you, everybody under those comments. No two people under my comments can say that they require the same thing of a husband or a wife. Because everybody has different emotional, physical, financial, mental, sexual needs. So when you say I want to spend my life with somebody for the rest of my life, remember that. It's more than the ring, the wedding, and saying, oh, this is my husband or this is my wife, and let's post some pictures and let's go on a trip. It's more than anniversaries. My son's father and I got married in 2008. We had been together since 2005. Through that marriage, and when I told him I wanted a separation and we went our separate ways in 2011, I knew that I didn't want to be a wife. I knew I didn't have it in me to be a wife. The emotional needs of another person, add on a child, is something that everybody doesn't want to sign up for. Especially people think that marriage is a cookie cutter situation, and it's not. Everybody has an individual need, want, desires, and requires, and what they require. After that wedding, after you take that dress off, after the tux comes off, guess what? Now life. Yeah. You could have been like we were together from 2000, staying together, living together. We had been living together since 2005. But I promise you, on July 26th, 2008, when I was the last person in that dressing room in my wedding gown, waiting for them to say it was my time to come out, the bridesmaids, everybody had walked out, I almost had an anxiety attack because I got to thinking, this is it. Yeah, you can stay together, you can be boyfriend and girlfriend for a long time, but when you get ready, and I was thinking, there's no more mama, daddy, my life is going into this man's hand. He is responsible for me. That's a big deal. Even though I have the mama that, baby, I can call on her till I'm 50, 60, it doesn't matter. But the thought that if something happens to me, he's in charge of everything. Unless I sign something else different, but then he could have fought. Y'all like marriage for the aesthetics and to belong to somebody, but do you really have what it takes to be a husband? Do you really have what it takes to be a wife? You're not gonna like each other every day. It takes a lot of forgiveness. It's nothing to be taken lightly, and I hate social media has made y'all think that it's all these trips and matching this and decorating rooms with flowers and balloons, and it's serious. And for two women to sit there and say, hey, I don't want to do this. I'd rather just do me, and be hated for it, is sickening. It's very sickening. And for them to say, hey, I didn't want to even bring children into this and just focus on me, is sickening. Y'all are some of the most selfish people and unreasonable because you just want what you want, no matter who gets hurt and no matter who's lacking, even yourself. You will drag yourself through the mud just to say you belong to somebody. And that's sad. A lot of y'all need to go touch grass and get one with yourself. Marriage is real. Marriage is not for aesthetics. Marriage is for life. Children are for life. They're not for aesthetics. They're not for baby showers. They're not for you to love on and woo, 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 woo on. Children are going to grow up. And they might not be exactly what you only... And most of the time that I've seen that children grow up and be exactly what their parents wanted to be, it's because those parents pushed them and were controlling. And those children, those people, as your children, are not even happy because they're just being what you wanted them to be. And you control them to be with your money. And if you don't do this, I'm not paying for your tuition. If you don't do this, I'm taking away the car, because that's your control. You had something that you can control. A lot of y'all want to have children because that's the only thing you have control over in your life, because you don't even have control over yourself. A lot of you are better to adults than you are to children. So just be husbands and wives, but leave children out of it. Tradition is not for everybody. Tradition came from something that somebody created. Find your own way to love. And this is why a lot of y'all are not happy, because you're trying to love under tradition. And that's not your love language. That's not what works for you. You're trying to do what mama, grandma, and great-great-grandma and great-great-great-great-grandma did. And it didn't even work for them. They just didn't know they had choices. And they didn't have choices. They couldn't even have their own bank accounts. As a woman still married, I can tell you, get one with yourself before you attach yourself to somebody else and before you bring children into this world. Y'all are basing your lives upon tradition. And that's why a lot of you are miserable. And that's why a lot of your husbands are cheating and a lot of your wives are cheating, because they're really not traditional people. They're just doing tradition. And I'm going to touch on that when I do my segment on Neo and his poly relationships. So yeah, thank y'all for tuning in. Always for CJ. Thank you for listening to my point of view. And I hope you find your happiness and not tradition. Be happy like Oprah. Be happy like Tracy.